Yeah, when I roll around my city, all I see is our sin. The product of the environment we was raised in. You see, hell is conditioned, cell made by men. The choices that we make, that box of sin. When I roll around my city, all I see is our sin. The product of the environment we was raised in. You see, hell is conditioned, cell made by men. The choices that we make, that box of sin. In this nation, my skin is my sin, a menace to society. Laws made because they fear the greatness inside of it. A crackhead on the corner can sing like Ryan Osley, and we run from the cops like track meets the irony. Cause every nigga in the Olympics straight out the hood, and we get where we come from when it's all good. $1 million slave with survival remorse, that's textbook. Looks divide and conquer, inspire others to work harder for minimum wage. To shine like you on center page. Welcome to the rat race. Now you a spring, you look down on those can keep your pace. These young bulls is Lazarus, the man in the mirror looking you in the face. You reap what you sow, the fruit will grow from every tree. That's how you know. Friend from foe that set the triangle, pass baton like the rock and give and go. You either build or destroy, make your choice, bro. When I roll around my city, all I see is our sin. The product of the environment we was raised in. You see, hell is conditioned, cell made by men. The choices that we make, that box of sin. When I roll around my city, all I see is our sin. The product of the environment we was raised in. You see, hell is conditioned, cell made by men. The choices that we make, that box of sin. All these atrocities in my isosceles cause animosity when hope is
wants us to get off the drugs and then raise our families back up to be the men and women of the Lord, man. But there's something in the middle of us right now. What is that? That Christian church, man. Get with me, brother. Joel, the 3rd chapter, 1st verse. Read it loud.
Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
Yeah, go ahead.
Prepare war.
Do what? Do what?
Prepare war.
You hear what the Lord said? Declare this among the Gentiles, man. Why? Because it don't look like they're going to war now. It look like they in control and in power of everything. But for the prophets of the Lord that know exactly what's going to happen in the earth, we know that it's time to prepare for war. Thank the Most High.
check. Just give me the other wireless mic, because it's going to do it again. Check. All right, there we go. It's good. All right, it's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. You understand? It's Monday, the history class, where we break down our records based off of the historical records. You understand? We use external sources outside of the Bible to also further validate what we already know is in the Bible about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Today's subject, we're going to go over the book, The 10 Tribes of Israel, by Barbara and Simon. All right. If you could, hey, read Revelations 12 and 16 for me.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the earth helped the woman.
And the earth did what?
Helped the woman.
Uh-huh.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
You understand? So, well, let's break it down a little bit further. Let's start it over at the beginning.
Okay. This book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the earth helped the woman.
The what?
The earth helped the woman.
All right. So, just to give you a little backdrop on this, so this is an analogy, right? So this is a woman clothed in the moon and the stars, which is the knowledge and the wisdom of the Most High God, and she wore a crown. You understand, that had 12 stars represented the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. So the beginning of this verse says that the earth helped the woman, right? So when you're clothed in the wisdom and the knowledge of God, the earth will render its fat unto you. You understand? The earth will help you. You know what I'm saying? When you are going to separate yourself, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? Like it says in Revelations. It says to come out of her, my children, so that you be not partakers of her plagues. All right? Keep reading. Keep reading.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
So the flood, you understand, that's being cast out, you understand, is the knowledge against the Lord. You understand? So like the scripture says in Job that the earth was given over into the hand of the wicked, right? So everything that is of this world, you understand, is against the Lord. Like the white man has literally opened the floodgates, you know what I'm saying, of things that are so quote unquote lawful. You understand? So that are lawful in this world. Like homosexuality, it's not against the law to be a homosexual and to have gay marriage, but it is unlawful, you understand, according to the Bible, right? It's not against the law to smoke weed, you understand, but it's unlawful according to the Bible. You understand? So the earth opened up and swallowed the things that were spewed out, you understand, from the dragon. You understand? So everything that the dragon has done to destroy the knowledge of God, the wisdom of God, and the 12 tribes of the nations of Israel, you understand, the Lord has allowed it not to stamp out our birthright, not to stamp out who we are as the children of Israel. All right? So, like I said, we're going to be reading from the 10 tribes of Israel by Barbara and Simon, right? So just to give a little background on the book, all right? So this book is the historical identification of the Aborigines of the Western Hemisphere, Part 1, right? Okay, so it starts off talking about Don Bartholomew Casas, all right, who was a 16th century Spanish landowner, a pharaoh, a priest, and bishop, famed as a historian and a social reformer. He arrived in Hispaniola as a layman, then became a Dominican farrier and a priest. He was appointed as the first resident bishop of Caiapas, and the first official appointed protector of the Indians. All right, so what is a protector of the Indians? All right, so the protector of the Indians was an administrative office of the Spanish colonials that was responsible for attending to the well-being of native population, including speaking on their behalf in courts and reporting back to the King of Spain. Censorus granted the title of Protector de Indios to Bartolome de las Casas, and he was given instruction to serve as an advisor regarding issues concerning the native population. Bartolome de las Casas was also asked to speak on their behalf during the legal proceedings, reporting back to Spain for over 50 years. While traveling to and from the New World and the court of Spain, Bartolome de las Casas used his books, letters, and preachings to reveal the harshness of the conquest. All right, so that's going to set basically the pedigree for this book. All right, All right, so if you could start reading on page 29. All right. So what you got to understand is they wanted to cover up the manners and the customs of the Indians to make it seem like they were savages, so it would be easy to enslave them. Like they didn't have a culture, they didn't have any records of writing and things of that nature. All right. When you got it, go ahead and read it, brother.
This is page 29. You want it from the start of the highlight or at the start of the paragraph where it's highlighted?
You can start at the begin. Hold on, let me pull it up on the screen for them so they can read along with you. My bad, y'all. Let's see, page 29. All right, go ahead. Start where it says Nicholas Antonio. You don't got your mic's not on.
Salaki.
All right, start over.
Nicholas Antonio and Pinello both name it, but it does not appear that the former saw any of it or the latter more than a part. That portion of the work containing an account of the
Did your mic go out? All right, no sweat. While you figuring that, I'm gonna read. All right, no sweat. All right, so we left off. That portion of the works containing an account of the religious manners and customs of the New World was termed apologetical because he must have endeavored to, Salakia, to palate in some manners and customs which were used as a plea by the greedy proprietors of the Encomides to press the crown to drive the Indians of all civil rights and reduce them to a condition of absolute slavery. So if you could possibly remove the humanity of a people and relegate them down to simply as beasts, right? You can treat them as livestock, right? So they basically try to make it seem like these people had no culture. These people had no spirituality. They were heathens. They were savages. They were uncivilized. You understand? So they did everything that they possibly could to make their case to the king and queen of the court so that they could just go ahead and enslave them, you understand, and do as they will with them. You good, Doc? Nah. Do it again. Nothing. All right, let me see something. Check.
Check.
Here we go. All right, no sweat. All right, go ahead. So pick up where it says, and how could that learned, that part right there under the highlighted part?
Con. And how could that learned prelate have set up a stronger defense for the Indians than by shewing that their instructions were derived from the Hebrews? However, that their instruction were derived from the Hebrews. However, time, through the perversion of traditions, might have corrupted them.
You understand? So over time, you understand, like when you're not with your people and you're alienated, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature, it's just like that game telephone, you know, when you was a kid, right? You know, you would say one thing to one person in their ear. By the time it made it around the entire circle, it was something completely different. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
That the apologetical history treated the religion of the Indians as Salakia treated the religion of the Indians is evident, since Torquemada says that the Lacases inserted in his apology in MS that Quetzalcoatl went from Tula to Yucatan, and a Spanish writer.
And remember that name, Quetzalcoatl. We gonna get into who that is later on. Keep reading.
Con. And a Spanish writer giving a sketch of the life of Las Casas says, speaking of his history, Las Casas himself in the year 1556 added a note to it.
Drop down to the last paragraph. You can start at the Archbishop.
Okay. The Archbishop of Mexico, Cardinal Lorenzana, afterwards Archbishop of Toledo, who published an edition of Cortez' letters in Mexico in the year 1770, would have derived some instruction from the perusal of the history of Shahagan, and certainly would not have assumed it as an undeniable fact that America had never been colonized from the northwest. Neither would he have put a different construction on.
Okay, so understand. So they realized that America was not colonized from the Bering Strait, right? So at this point, the theory was that the Native Americans and the Aboriginals of America came from the Bering Strait, right? So they realized that these people had a culture. These people were the descendants of the children of Israel. So it's impossible for these people to have come from the Bering Strait. You understand? Because they had direct ties in their culture, in their feast days, and the way they carried about in day-to-day life to the children of Israel that's spoken of in the Bible. All right? So let's go to, all right, so the Echemedes was a Spanish labor system that rewarded the conquerors with labor of particular groups of conquered non-Christian people. So if they were to prove these people to be non-Christian, because Christians were to be followers of Christ, Christ himself was a Hebrew and Israelite following, you understand, the laws of Moses. You understand, if they were able to prove these people not to do that, you understand, they could enslave them. But if they told the accurate fact of what they encountered with these people, they would have never been able to enslave them. You understand? Which proves that the white man is a devious and dubious devil. You understand? All right. So, little facts on the Bering Strait. All right, which is a dominant theory, suggests that the ancestors of the Native Americans crossed the Bering Strait about 15,000 years ago and quickly colonized North America and then South America. Montezuma was the ninth Ptolemy and ruler of the Aztec Empire, reigning from 1502 to 1520. The first contact between the indigenous civilizations of Mesoamerica and Europeans took place during his reign, and he was killed during the initial stages of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. When the conquistadors, Herman Cortez and his men, fought to take over the Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan. All right, so this further lets you know that these people had a set and established empire. Right? You understand? They came with knowledge, with understanding. All right. Let's go to page 49. You understand, when it starts talking about the Mexican traditions of the migration. All right. Read it when you got home and put it on the screen for them.
Top paragraph.
Yeah, you can start at the top paragraph.
Come. So, the multitude of the nations and go.
Well, we gonna pull the actual scripture. They quote the second Ezra. Go ahead and read where it says the Mexican traditions.
The Mexican tradition is in.
Your mic went out. Went out. No sweat.
Check.
There you go. There you go.
Testimony. They affirm that they homicides during the
Okay, so peep this, right? So the Mexican tradition is in perfect accord with the proceeding of this testimony, all right? They affirm that they traveled through Astian or Asia and had 104 domiciles during their migration. All right, so let's go. Let's pull Second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 41 and 42. All right, so let's see if it's in accordance with the book of Second Esdras.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 41. But they took this counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt.
You understand? So the white man had never been to America. All right, so we talking about the Roman Empire. We talking about the Greek Empire. We talking about the Persian Empire. We talking about the Babylonians. You understand? Keep reading.
Okay. That they might, so like that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Now remember, we said that the earth in the beginning in Revelation 12 that the earth helped the woman, right, and opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. You understand? So the Lord allowed the children of Israel to go into this land, you know what I'm saying, so they can be safe, you understand, to be able to dwell, keep their customs, you understand? So here comes, you know what I'm saying, that old dragon, you understand, that conquered the rest of us on the other side of the pond, you understand? And so what you have to realize is this was never about finding America, you understand, finding a new land to dwell. It's about finding the rest of the children of Israel to establish their empire, their dominance, so that their nation can be blessed. You understand? Keep reading.
And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, a year of a year and a half, and the same region is called Aseret.
All right. So this lines up specifically what they're talking about in this book on page 49. All right. That they affirm they traveled, you understand, through the Aslands or Asia, and that's Asia Minor, right? So when you go through the Euphrates, you understand the path that it talks about, you understand, when they traveled on foot, the spot that they came through is Asia Minor, right? And it lines up with what they were saying, you understand, in this book, all right? So let's go to page 31, all right? So when you got to go ahead, let me put it on the page, put it on the screen for them. Page 31. Jesus, big as hell. Hold on one second, let me fix it for them so they can read with you. right, go ahead.
Page 31, the book, The 10 Tribes of Israel Historically. Shah, when engaged in the compilation of his history, after it has been taken away from him and again restored, received 3 cautions.
Received what?
3 cautions.
How many?
3 cautions.
Keep reading.
First, to write nothing to the Hebrews had colonized the New World.
To do what?
To write nothing to prove that the Hebrews had colonized the New World.
You understand? This goes back to what it says, you understand, in Psalms. You understand that they had crafty counsel, right? Because if they were to prove that the children of Israel colonized the New World, that means that they would have to bow down. You understand? Because they were the rightful rulers of the earth, because they were the children of the Most High God, which means that they couldn't enslave them. You understand? Which means that they couldn't establish a new land or colony over in Mesoamerica, you understand, in North America. You understand? Because these people are not only a cultivized and cultured people, you understand, but they are the people that's been spoken about in books since the beginning of time. You understand? Because we are the children of the Most High God. Keep reading.
Secondly, to be guarded in what he said of the devils having imitated God and taking to himself a chosen people in the New World and counterfeiting the rites and ceremonies of the Jews.
You understand? So basically, they're saying that these people are in deems, you know what I'm saying, in league with the devil. You understand? That their God, you understand, is some savage demon, you understand, and they have adopted or stolen, you understand, the culture of the Jews. You understand? So the devil, you understand, which is the white man, these conquistadors that then came over here, basically gave them their identity. Because the white man invented Christianity, invented the Most High as a white God, and Christ is a white man. You understand? Which in fact is evil. You understand? And they created Judaism. You understand? Which is a false adaptation of the culture and spiritual systems of the children of Israel. So what they did was they flipped the script to make King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to believe that these people did when in fact they actually did. You understand? Keep reading.
Thirdly, not to advance the hypothesis that Christianity had ever been proclaimed to the Indians.
Say it again.
Not to advance the hypothesis proclaimed to the Indians, or to.
All right. So the third thing is that to not say that they had any contact with Christianity, right? Because first and foremost, to them they didn't know what Christianity was, because they were a spiritual people. You know what I'm saying? Who naturally kept the law, statutes, and commandments. They were a righteous people, a just people. You understand? That lived in tranquility and peace, because the Lord have removed them from the rest of the world. You understand? As it said in 2nd Esdras. You understand? So, and not to go into detail about the history of Quetzalcoatl, right? And we're going to get into who that is, because when we start going in to the actual history of what they say the myth of Quetzalcoatl is, that person's going to sound very familiar to you. You understand? All right. So giving you a little background, you understand, on Bernardino de Sahagún, was a Franciscan friar, a missionary priest, and a pioneer and ethnographer who participated in the Catholic evangelization of the colonial New Spain, which is now Mexico. General history of things of New Spain is it documents the culture, region and cosmology or worldview, ritual practices, society, economics, and history of the Aztec people, right? So, as an ethnographer, you have to keep detailed records because this will be put on historical record, filed and documented for the history of this people because it's the first contact of this people. So if he put on first record, first contact, these people were savages, they worshiped demons and devils, they were uncultured, uncivilized, you understand? That means that they had every right to conquer them. You understand? Because they were quote unquote Christians and felt they had the power of God to culture and teach the uncivilized of what the Spirit of God is. All right? Okay, so let's go to let's go to page 34. Pull that up on the screen. Second, so they can read along with you. All right, when you got it, go ahead and read it. We're going to start at Garcia. Started where it says Garcia.
Garcia, in his famous treatise on the origin of the Indians, says in the 232nd page introduction up to the third book, many have supported the Spaniards generally who reside in the Indies, believe that the Indians proceed from the 10 tribes.
From where?
From the 10 tribes.
From where?
From the 10 tribes.
This is a white man. This is in a white man's book. You understand? Saying that the Native Americans proceed from the 10 tribes. All right? Keep reading.
Who were lost in the time of Salamanzar,
In the
king.
time of who?
In the time of Salamanzar, king of Assyria, of whom Rabbi Shimon says nothing is certain, nor is it known where they dwell.
You understand? Because nobody, like, they knew where some of the southern tribe was. They already had them round up. But nobody knew where the other 10 tribes were located in the world. You understand? Because like it said in 2nd Esdras, they fled so that they can keep the customs of their father. You understand? In a land that no man known, so they can do what their ancestors didn't do. You understand? And keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Keep reading.
This opinion is grounded on the disposition, nature, and customs of the Indians, which they found very similar to those of the Hebrews.
Found very similar to who?
To those of the Hebrews.
You understand? So in this book, right, it's saying that the culture, you understand, of the Indians were very similar and exactly of those of the Hebrews. You understand? This is in a white man's book, man. You understand? In they records, man, of their first encounters with the Aztecs. You understand? Also known as the children of Israel. You understand? Keep reading.
And although some learned men are to assent to such a belief, I, nevertheless, have bestowed great diligence.
Little diligence.
Great diligence.
I made an assumption.
Nevertheless, I have bestowed great diligence upon the verification of this truth.
Of this lie.
The verification of this truth.
Keep reading.
I can affirm that I have labored in this more than any other part of my work, and from what I have found thereto relating, I shall lay such foundations for the edifice and structure of this hypothesis as will be able to contain its weight.
Keep reading.
The entire of Garcia's third book of the origins of the Indians treats accordingly of the likeness which in their laws,
In their what?
their laws,
In their what?
their laws,
In their what?
their laws,
Uh-huh.
their customs, their moral qualities and habits, their ceremonies, sacrifices, and inclinations to idolatry. And in their early history, the two nations bore to each other.
You understand? So he's basically saying in his rigorous study of the Torah and Tanakh, right, in relation to these people's laws, customs, moral qualities and habits, their ceremonies, which is their feast days, their sacrifices, and their inclination to idolatry, that the two people, right, are the same. You understand? The Aztecs or Native Americans, all right, are the lost 10 tribes of the nation of Israel. Keep reading.
In the first chapter, he criticizes the passage of the which
You understand? So he went over that passage with great scrutiny. You understand? With great scrutiny. You understand? To try and prove that these in fact were not the children of Israel. But the more and more he went over this passage, the more and more he realized that he was telling the actual story of what happened to the lost 10 tribes. They were found. Keep reading.
to treat with grave history the manner in which they had crossed from one continent to the other was also a subject of discussion.
The reason why it's a subject of discussion because they can't believe that the Lord did for them when they crossed when they came over here in Second Esdras, what the Lord did for them when they crossed the Red Sea, you understand, in Egypt. Because they can't fathom that the Lord parted the ocean for them to walk on dry land for a year and a half, you understand, to America. You understand? They can't fathom that. That's why it's a huge discussion. How did they get over here? You understand? We are children of the Most High God, the power. You understand? 4 classes ago, I brought out a book from the Aztec records talking about their ancestors that carried with them a staff of their people. And they put that staff in the sand and it parted the sea so that they can escape from their enemies to the land that they dwelt in as of now, just like their ancestors did. Does that not sound like the story of Moses that they were referencing? Did they not do the same thing that Moses did to get to America? Keep reading. You're at the bottom. What's it? There you go.
Which is the most curious of a between moral ceremonial laws and nearly they agree in the
So, not only were their customs the exact same, he went as far to compare the Hebrew language to their language, right? So the language of the so-called Mexicans, which are the Aztecs, right? Those people spoke Hebrew. You got something you want to say, Art? Go ahead.
You was dropping just a second ago. It made me think about, Deuteronomy chapter. They left. Deuteronomy chapter. Therefore, and do this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations.
You understand? Like,
For what nation? So not unto them, as the Lord our God is. They wonder how did they get over there? Well, they got over there to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, so the Lord was going to be with them. Right. So you wondering how it got done and wondering why they over there better than how you living in Europe, where y'all killed almost 2/3 of the damn populace, and they're still alive over there throughout everything that happened. The Black Plague, everything that happened just before the end, and they over there good and been there for a few generations. You know what I mean?
More than a couple thousand years. You know
enough to populate from North America down to the tip of South America. Like, it's just beautiful.
And then on top of that, like next class, like I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna do like pictures of the nations, right? I got a book called 500 Nations, bro. This book not only shows that the Aztecs and the Mayans were black, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, they were people of color, you know what I'm saying? Not white, how they show them and depict them in all these other stories and visuals, right? But they had advanced cities, right? You understand? With technologies of water systems and aqueducts, you understand? Advanced masonry and architecture to this day that they still don't know how they set these stones so perfectly without mortar.
Right.
Like, the stones were set with no mortar.
Good night.
Perfect. You understand?
I mean, if I could.
Go ahead.
One of the things, and if I don't want to go too far into the subject because we'll probably, power over it a little bit later, but, what they noticed about the aqueduct system that they had over here, it was more intricate than that of Italy.
Right.
Where, Colombia, he'd been in Italy and over in, Spain. And when they saw that, they knew it was something great. Like, I mean, these people was walking around with mint in their pockets. Like, you think gum is something new.
Right.
They was the first one walking around with mints to keep their breath,
Real talk.
So, I know you're going to go into it.
No, it's all good, man. So, like, these people were an advanced civilization, man. More advanced than the Europeans. You understand? And they had advanced cities from all the way to what you know is Mexico City, which was like, which you would say would be their New Jerusalem, right, from when they came over here, all right, all the way to Alabama to Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Because Alabama itself is a Hebrew word. Go ahead.
If I could, I don't want, like, they were so advanced. They were the first ones to begin to pull dirt from inland to make new cities or new ground on top of water. They started that tradition of doing that, of moving land mass.
AKA the mound builders.
Yes.
You understand? Which is an awesome book that we're going to also go over. You understand? Don't sweat, brother. Don't sweat. All right. So, what was it? That was page 34?
Page 34.
All right, no sweat. All right, so we're going to go to page 36. Let me pull it up on the screen for him. Page 36. All right, hold on. Let me get there with you, brother. All right, you're going to start at the highlighted portion where it says, then every Spanish writer.
The early Spanish writers believed that the Mexican and Peruvian government, laws, and commonwealth were modeled after the manner of the Jews.
Modeled after the manner of the what?
The manner of the Jews.
You understand? Because they were the children of Israel. You understand? It wasn't modeled after them. That's who they were. Keep reading.
Though the reason they assign for this is absurd. They say that Satan was jealous of the institutions which God had given his chosen people, and therefore determined to imitate them in the new world.
You understand? So instead of calling them the children of the Most High God, they called them the children of Satan. You understand? When everything that they did, the way they walked, the language that they talked, their ceremonies, their laws, their customs proved who they are beyond a reasonable doubt, we can't say that they're Israelites. We can't say that they're the lost 10 tribes. We can't say that they're Jews, because if we say that, we can't enslave them. You understand? The white man is a diabolical devil, man. Go ahead, brother.
They have not failed by the kings and Incans, Incas, and in the external marks of reverence.
You understand? Like that's crazy, man. Like, but that is how they wired our people today. The truth can be looking you dead in the face, and you still gonna say it's a lie. You understand? Like, it's not too hard to believe that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real children of Israel. We are the most spiritual and moral people on the face of the earth, even in our trodden down condition. You understand? That's why in the hood you got a G code. Right. You understand? But the real G code is the law, statutes, and commandments, the God code. Right. You understand? And it's time for us to come back to our culture, man. It's time out for that. All right. Go ahead. Read the next paragraph.
Come on. Ecclesiastics received no encouragement to write histories of that nation.
They did what?
Ecclesiastics received no encouragement to write histories of that nation.
You know what I'm saying? The reason why they didn't have any encouragement, because to say that these people are who they are, that means the people that say who these people actually are back where they came from are liars.
Right.
You understand? And these people that say that they're so-called Jews, these Khazarians, these Ashkenaz, these Sephardic Jews, are a bunch of treacherous liars, culture bandits, and vagabonds. You understand? And they've already set up how things work in the so-called old world. You understand? But this world that they living in is just as old. Matter of fact, they say that the oldest pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula is just as old as the pyramids in Egypt. It's more pyramids here in the Americas than it is over there in Africa.
Right.
What does that tell you? You understand? We the real pyramid builders. You understand? Because that's our culture. We are mound builders. You understand? Like, we build temples. You understand? Unto the Most High God, wherever we are, to where we can go and worship. You understand? And these people stole not only our identity, you know what I'm saying? They used our technology for evil, you understand? And wiped our memory, you understand? And took our culture from us all the way together. Keep reading. Your mic out. Out. Is it the way you holding it? Nothing. All right. Well, all right. So, unfortunately, the Ecclesiastes received no encouragement to write the histories of that nation, nor does it appear that they were allowed to publish them. So, not only they had no motivation for talking about who these people really are, but they weren't even allowed to publish that the Aztecs, the Incas, the Olmecs, the Mayans, the North American Indians, that they were the real children of Israel. You understand? Because it was due to crafty counsel. Because if they admitted this, that means that they could not conquer these people and take their land from them. You understand? All right? And then it says, since the works of Menedita, the Terrible de Benavita, I'm sorry, or Motilian, there it goes.
So like, where were you at, sir?
Where it says a copy of whose valuable history, Dr. Robertson.
A copy of whose valuable history Dr. Robertson seemed to have procured from Spain, but of which he evidently made no use, and of the Amos and Sahagun had never been printed. And strange to say, the royal historiographer of the Indies, Herrera, attempts to discredit the relations of Torquemada, which may account for the relation of the latter, Arthur, having become so excessively rare.
You understand? So they went out of their way to discredit, make it illegal to publish, or even say anything that the Incas, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the North American Indians, the people that they came in contact with in Mesoamerica, you understand, were the children of Israel, because it was not conducive to the new world and the way that they had things set up in the so-called old world. You understand? For the world order that they were trying to set up to rule this world. You understand? All right, so let's go to let's go to page 42. I'll pull that up on the screen. Matter of fact, you just gonna read that the beginning of the last paragraph in 42. I'm gonna pull page 43. You gonna go straight into that.
Come.
All right.
The commentator.
Hold on 1 second. Let me put it up on screen, page 43, so they can read along. All right, he's gonna start at the base of page 42, which leads into the top of 43. All right, go ahead, brother.
The commentator on the Mexican antiquities observes the first reason for concluding the Indian tribes to be of Hebrew descent is in their belief of the symbolical purification of water.
The what?
The symbolical purification of water. The inhabitants of Yucatan gave to water with which they baptized their children.
They did what?
Baptized their children. The title of the water regeneration.
You understand? So they took with them, you know what I'm saying, the baptism of John, you know what I'm saying, over here. You understand? Because the washing of water was symbolic, you understand, of the regeneration. You understand? To be born, to be a new creation. You understand? So what John was doing, they had been doing, because they was over here, you know what I'm saying, during the Assyrian empires when they came over to America. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
The Indians of Yucatan invoked him, whom they believed to be the living and true God, of whom they made no graven image.
They did what?
They made no graven image.
Hold on. Give me, hold on, I got you. Give me, I think it's Deuteronomy. Exodus, give me, actually it is Deuteronomy. We're gonna read both of them. Give me Exodus 20 and 4, and then we're gonna read Deuteronomy 5 and 8.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath.
Just start at verse 2.
Come. Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt what?
Have no other gods before me.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Thou shalt not do what?
Bow down thyself to them.
You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you bow down to no man, to no woman, to no image. You know what I'm saying? Which lets you know the act of getting down on one knee to propose to a woman for marriage is not our custom. You understand? Because it goes against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Like, it literally says, thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them. You bow down to no image of anything. No man, no woman, no child, no symbolic image of anything of heaven above or in the earth below or in the waters. Keep reading.
Nor serve them.
Nor what?
Nor serve them.
Uh-huh.
For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
Is a what?
A jealous God.
Uh-huh.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
All right, give me Deuteronomy 5 and 8. It was so nice, had to say it twice.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 8.
Start at verse 6.
Come on, verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other God before me. Thou shalt not make any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth.
And then read verse 9 again.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them,
Don't you get on no knee.
nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
You understand? So, like, if the exact same thing is said twice, it must be really important, huh? You understand? All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to page 43. All right, where it says the second reason.
The second reason for believing that the religion of the Indians was Judaism is that they use circumcision.
They did what?
They use circumcision. Third, that they
Hold on,
expected.
let's pull that in scripture too. Hold on. All right. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Let me see. Give me Leviticus chapter 12 verse 2.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 12, verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed,
Hold on, has she conceived what?
conceived seed,
Not an egg.
have conceived seed,
She's conceived the seed of the husband. Keep reading.
and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation of her infirmity shall she be unclean. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
You understand? This is the law, right? If a woman bear the seed and have a male child, on the 8th day, he is to be circumcised. All right? So that was the second reason. The second reason for believing that the religion of the Indians was Judaism. You know what I'm saying? False claim, dies a hijack. You know what I'm saying? It is that they use circumcision, right? No other people on the face of the earth circumcise their children except for the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Especially a so-called savage nation. You understand? But they circumcise their children. Why would they do that? You understand? Where does this knowledge come from? It comes from the knowledge of the Most High God. This was not a common practice among all of the nations during that time. Only the children of Israel circumcised their children. I.e., why when David came up against Goliath, you know what I'm saying? He capped on him. He said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? You understand? Because we were a circumcised people. That was one way that you knew who the children of Israel were. You understand? Because we were circumcised and all the other nations weren't. You know what I'm saying? We would make fun of them for not being circumcised. You know what I'm saying? It's like calling them an anteater today. You know what I'm saying? All right, keep reading.
Khan the third, that they expected a Messiah.
They did what?
They expected a Messiah.
And we gonna get in. So man, I won't give it away. You know what I'm saying? But they expected a Messiah. You understand? Like, this is in their history, in their record books. Keep reading.
Khan. The fourth, that many words connected with the celebration of their religious rites were obviously of Hebrew extraction.
Obviously of what?
Hebrew extraction.
No, it wasn't like for them. See, you got to watch these words that they use. They say of Hebrew extraction. It means like they stole it from the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? But they were Hebrews because they are Israelites. Go ahead.
And then just to even with the use of that word with Hebrew extraction, where would they have even had any connection with a Hebrew being over here? And
exactly. How can they extract it from them? Right? They've been over here since the Assyrian Empire. You understand? Like, think about that. Who would they have been able to extract this to? You understand? Let alone be expecting a Messiah. Like, come on, bro. Keep reading.
Fifth.
And then peep this, right? If you expected a Messiah, what is a Messiah? A savior, right? They weren't in a state that they needed to be saved, which lets you know what happened to them had to happen. You understand? Because we're the only people on the face of the earth, you understand, that need to be saved. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? We have no language. We speak the language of our oppressor. You understand? We have no culture. We take on the culture of our oppressor. You celebrate the holidays and feast days of your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? So, in order to expect a Messiah, a Savior, you would have to be saved. No other nation on the face of the earth needs to be saved except for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We don't have a land. Our land was taken from us. Our birthright was taken from us. Our culture was taken from us. Our language was taken from us. Our knowledge and appreciation of self was taken from us. Go ahead,
and crazy. You know what I'm saying? Knowing, like, this how you know we the same. Because they ran to go find some land and got that taken too.
Right.
So you get your original taken. Say, I'm gonna just go get a knockoff.
You know what I'm saying? They build a New Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying?
It's for some reason.
You feel me? Like, bro, you understand? Like, keep reading.
Fifth, the Lacasis, the bishop of Chiapa, who had the best means of verifying the fact of this opinion. Sixth, that the Jews...
Hold on, let's not glean past that. It says a bishop had the best means of verifying this information. You know what I'm saying? So bishop of the Catholic faith, he verified this. Everything that they did was of the children of Israel. Their laws, statutes, and commandments, their ceremonies, their customs. Keep reading.
6, the Jews themselves, including some of the most eminent rabbis. the most eminent rabbis, such as Manasseh ben Israel and Metasenos, maintained it both by verbal statements and in writing.
You understand? So, but what wasn't they allowing them to do? They were not allowing them to publish their records and their findings. So it was discredited, even though that they read it. And these people, you understand, were astute. You understand, in their perspective, in their perspective traditions. You know what I'm saying? As far as in Catholicism, as far as their roles, as far as their knowledge and what they knew. You understand? But it was a law that they did not allow them to write or publish any of their information, but they wrote it down anyway because somebody needed to have record of this. The reason why they need to have record of this, so you can have record of it today. Because unfortunately, you have stubborn, pig-headed blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that the Bible is not enough to substantiate who you are. You understand? Keep reading.
The dilemma in which most of the Spanish writers, such as Acosta and Torquemada, have placed their readers by leaving them no alternative than to come to the decision whether the Hebrews colonized America and established their rights amongst the Indians.
So they didn't want to say that the Indians, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas were the Hebrews and the children of Israel. No, they rather say that the Hebrews at some point in time came over to America, colonized it, conquered and civilized the Incas, the Native Americans, the Mayans, and the Aztecs, and then came back over to the other side of the world and left them living and doing their own thing. You know how idiotic that is? Doesn't that sound stupid as hell? It sounds dumb as hell. Keep reading.
Or whether the devil had counterfeited in the new world the rites and ceremonies which God had gave to his chosen people.
So either they were conquered by the Hebrews and the children of Israel and civilized, you know what I'm saying, with their cultures, or the devil himself created his heaven on earth and taught them the law, statutes, and commandments. Both of them sound dumb as hell. Go ahead.
And this is why Christianity is such a childish, it's a childish damn religion. So you have the rational thought that the devil would create righteousness on the other side of the world.
Right.
Like what?
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
So he just gonna leave he gonna come over here and do the same thing and have them do the devil.
So basically, Satan wanted to create his heaven on earth, you understand? And God's heaven on earth was Europe. Good night, brother. Good night. Go ahead.
Damn. This is heavy.
Keep reading.
The 8th is the resemblance of is the resemblance which many ceremonies and rites that the Isupk of the Indians bear to those.
The mic went out again.
Check.
There you go.
There we go. The 8th is the resemblance which many ceremonies and rites of the Indians bear to those of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th is the similitude which exists between the Indian and Hebrew moral laws.
You understand? So they had that. I mean, in other books that we read, you understand, they had the law of get back. You understand? Which was an eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? What you do unto me, I'm gonna do unto you. You understand? Because that's righteousness. You understand? So They had the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You understand? They believed that the women should be separated when they were on their monthly. You understand? That the women were separated, you know what I'm saying, after childbirth, you know what I'm saying, until the time of cleanliness. You understand? That the men couldn't be unclean and do priestly work. You understand? Like, so they kept the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Like, this was found, this is cited by multiple white ethnographers, historians, you understand, and authors. Like, I know for sure we didn't read at least 8 of them. You know what I'm saying? Over the past 3 months, we didn't read at least 8 of them, and they all saying the same thing. Keep reading.
Khan. The 10th is the knowledge which the Indians possess, the history contained within the Pentateuch.
I thought you mean the knowledge that the Mexicans and the Peruvians.
The knowledge which the Mexicans and the Peruvian tradition supplied that the Indians possess, the history contained in the Pentateuch.
You understand? So they understood and had the knowledge in the spirit of the Most High God, man. Go ahead.
Clarification: the Pentateuch. I mean, Pento meaning 5. We saying first 5 books, right?
Right.
So I want to make sure. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So they had the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Shalom, Lord Christ. Go ahead, brother.
Is the Mexican tradition
Mm-hmm.
or divine books of the Toltecs.
The what?
Divine book of the Toltecs.
See, they didn't want to call it the Torah. You know what I'm saying? They had to say that the Toltecs had their own book that was different. You know what I'm saying? But it was the Torah. Keep reading.
Well, the famous migration from
It's low, but there you go.
you know?
There we go.
Okay, stop, boy. The famous migration from Astian or Asia, 13th, the traces of Jewish history, traditions, laws, customs, manners, which are found in Mexican paintings.
Which we gonna bring out next class in the book, The 500 Nations. Go ahead.
And it's crazy that all of this is documented by these people, but they swear up and down that the Mayans and a few of those other cultures just evaporated or disappeared off the face of the earth.
No, they didn't. They didn't evaporate. They were normally when that quote unquote happens, they're enslaved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we know that now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When a culture or people disappears off the face of the earth, they were enslaved. They weren't wiped out. Well, their culture was, but they were enslaved. That's what happened. Right. And indoctrinized. Keep reading.
14th, the frequency of sacrifice amongst the Indians and the religious consecration of the blood and fat of the victims. 15th, the style of the architecture of their temples.
You understand? Didn't I just say that?
Con.
You feel me? Like the style of architecture of their temples is just like it is in Jerusalem. You understand? Keep reading.
16th, the fringes.
The what?
The fringes.
The what?
The fringes, which the Mexicans wore fastened to their garments, not t-shirts.
You understand? So not only that, they wore fringes with a border of blue on all of their garments. You understand? These are the children of Israel, the lost 10 tribes. Keep reading.
17. The similarity of the manners and customs of the Indian tribes far removed from the central monarchies of Mexico and Peru to those of the Jews
Of
which
the what?
of the Jews which writers who were not Spaniards have noticed, such as Sir William Penn and etc.
You understand? So, I mean, like, what else can you say? You feel me? All right. So let's go to it says page 42, 43. All right. So we're gonna go to page 62. All right, let me pull that up on the screen for him. Page 62. All right. Read that that last paragraph for the highlighted part. Let me pull it up on my side. All right, go ahead.
Kanawakan. Tenochtitlan was believed by the Mexicans to reside in the garden of Tenochtitlan. He was the father of Quetzalcoatl and was named Ometeotl, who signifies the Most High. I mean, Salakia, which signifies the Most High.
So if Tenochtitlan, I'm sorry, if Tenochtitlan, all right, signifies the Most High, and his son was Quetzalcoatl, who would Quetzalcoatl be? That would be Christ. You understand? Keep reading.
That word being compounded of one twice, which particle when prefixed to an adjective has an intrusive force, like the Latin ter. The meaning of the proper name of Tenochtitlan, the Lord of our bodies or life.
The what?
The Lord of our bodies or life. It is to be remarked that the Hebrews styled Jehovah, the Lord of all flesh, of all things, the expressions being synonymous, because animal life cannot exist without flesh.
Right.
Hence, it is apparent that the tree of life was with the greatest propriety by the Mexican Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan. This tree must have been celebrated.
All right. So that's
That's a page back when I go back that way.
All right, so we're gonna go to page 61 now. Let me pull that up on the screen for him. All right. So once you start reading at where that second paragraph is, where it says, yep. Matter of fact, I think I have this book. Extracted from the Antiquities of Mexico. I think I have this book. Go ahead.
Come on. Iulito, in the Mexican language, signifies blue, and hence was a name which the Mexicans gave to heaven.
Why would they call heaven blue, the color blue?
Sky's blue?
Right, because that's the firmament. You understand? You feel me? Keep reading.
Which gave to heaven, which from
your mic going out again.
Check.
There you go.
epithet signifying the God of heaven, which they bestowed upon Tezcatlipoca or Tenochtitlan, which Salakia, who was painted with a crown as Lord of all.
You understand? So they had understanding, you understand, of not only heaven, but the Most High, the God of all. You know what I'm saying? Over heaven. Keep reading.
as the interpreter of the Codex Telerano, affirms in the 107th page of translation, to whom they assign the first and last place in the calendar, empathetically styling him the god of fire. Zulatakolti may bear the other interpretation of God of ages, the everlasting one, which connected with the Mexican notion of fire being the element more peculiarly sacred to him. Recalls to our recollection in the 9th and 10th verses of the 7th chapter of Daniel's description of the vision of the Ancient of Days.
Shoot, let's go to it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Daniel, the book of Daniel. Go there with you. Chapter 7.
Verse 9 and 10, I believe.
Yeah, start at verse 9.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days the Ancient of Days did sit,
That's the Most High. Keep
whose
reading.
garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame.
It was like a what?
Fiery flame.
Uh-huh.
And his wheels as burning fire.
You understand? Keep reading.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open.
You know what I'm saying? It's exactly what they describe it in the book. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's see what time it is. 7:33. All right. Well, I basically just described it. All right, so now we're gonna get in to who Quincy Coda was. All right. So we're gonna start off with page 80.
80?
Yeah. That should be like the last one. The last. Yeah. I got it up on the screen. Okay. Let me go there with you real quick, brother. All right. Okay, you gonna start where it says they called the morning star after.
They called the morning star after Quetzalcoatl. Say he took the name on occasion of his disappearance. With respect to the appellation Mexi or Mazzetoli, the other name by which Quetzalcoatl was known among the Mexicans. It is very remarkable that it is precisely the same as the Hebrew word which signifies the anointed,
which is Mashiach. You understand? Mexi or Metzatali, you understand, means the same thing as Mashiach. You understand? Which is anointed in Hebrew. Keep reading. Because Christ's name is Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the anointed Savior. You understand? Keep reading.
The virgin was represented. The virgin was represented in the Indian paintings of whom the great prophet should be born, and that his own people would reject and meditate evil against him and would put him to death.
So not only that, in their paintings, in their culture, it depicted the story of Christ. Keep reading. Mike out. There you go.
Check. Good.
Yep.
Come on. Accordingly, he is represented in the painting with his hands and feet tied to the tree.
Tied to the what?
The tree.
Uh-huh.
The manner in which he had returned to life again and ascended to heaven was likewise painted.
You understand? So the whole story of Christ was painted in the Native American tapestries. You understand? In their records, and they say that that the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, that they had no records. You understand? But it's clearly telling you right now that they had records of who Christ was. You understand? All right. Give me page 75. Let me pull that up on the screen. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Yeah. Give me page 75. Let me pull that up on the screen. All right, start at the beginning of the paragraph. Well, I'll start at where it says.
And the proper name?
Yeah, in the proper name.
And the proper name, Toplizin, does indeed bear a significant corresponding to God with us, which means God domesticated amongst men. The full force of the expression is preserved in the term top.
The son of what? You understand? So Quincy Codal, you understand, one of his monikers was Toplizin, you understand? Which means the son of man, or God with us, or God domesticated amongst men. You know what I'm saying? Who in the scriptures was called the son of man? Christ was. You understand? Like this is who they call the son of the Most High. You understand? The son of man. You understand? God who was domesticated amongst us. You understand? Keep reading.
For
the Mexicans believe that Quetzalcoatl took human nature upon him, partaking of all the infirmities of man, and was not exempt from sorrow, pain, or death, which he suffered voluntarily to atone for the sins of man.
You understand? Like, I mean, I don't think I gotta go any further into that. You know what I'm saying? So Quincy Codal is Christ. You understand? In their culture. You understand? In their records. You feel me? All right. Keep reading. Check your mic. There you go.
they also believe that he alone had a human body and was of corporeal substance, a notion which we can only wonder whence it could be derived.
All right, so next we're going to go to that's 75. Let's go to 78. Pull that up on the screen for him. All right, go ahead.
From the beginning of the paragraph, sir?
Yeah, that's fine.
Con. Of a tradition respecting Quetzalcoatl, Humboldt observes the Great Spirit, Tezcatlipoca, offered Quetzalcoatl a beverage which is rendering him immortal, inspired him with a taste for traveling, particularly with an irresistible desire of visiting a distant country. Called by tradition Tlaxcalan, the resemblance of this name.
Check the mic.
Tlaxcalan, the country of the Toltecs, appears not to be accidental. But how can we conceive that this white man, priest of Tula, should have
taken his direction, and we shall presently find to the southeast toward the plains of Cholula, and then to the eastern coast of Mexico in order to visit the northern country whence his ancestors had issued, etc., and etc., Quetzalcoatl, in crossing the territory of Cholula or Cholula, yielded
the entreaties of the inhabitants who offered him the crown. He dwelt 20 years among them, taught them to cast metals, ordered feasts of 8 days, regulated the intercalations of the Toltec year. He preached peace to man and would permit no offering to the divinity than the first fruits of the harvest.
The what of harvest?
Fruits of the harvest.
You understand? The Toltecs, you understand?
Check,
The
check.
Incas and the Mayans kept the feast of the first fruits. You understand? And that Quetzalcoatl or Christ taught them to keep their culture again. Does that not sound like when Christ said, go out in the highways and byways and preach what? That the kingdom of God is at hand. You understand? It's literally the story of Christ. Literally. Literally. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's go to 73, and then we're gonna pull out some precepts, and then we're gonna end it there. All right, let me pull it up on the screen for him, page 73. All right, go ahead where it says they the Indians.
They, the Indians, were descended from the race of Quetzalcoatl.
So if Quetzalcoatl is Christ, that means that he's a Hebrew, which means he's an Israelite, you understand, of the tribe of Judah, and that they come from the stock of Israel. Yasha'Allah. Keep reading.
For this reason, they held lineage in great account.
Just like the children of Israel. Keep reading.
And wherever they chanced to be, they said, I am of such a lineage.
Does that not sound like niggas talking in the Bible? You know what I'm saying? Tazadak bun Yahweh the bun Yasha'Allah. You understand?
For the image of their founder, whom they called Baton, wood and incense were always burning.
Good. They burning incense. They burning frankincense and myrrh. Keep reading.
Holding up of roses and flint knives, partly covered with branches of rose tree, denoted the commencement of the suffering of Quetzalcoatl.
You understand? Like, keep reading, bro.
The subject of this plate is the announcement of Chemelhim, that she should be the mother of Quetzalcoatl. It is singular that this season of suffering and affliction, from which, according to the belief of Mexicans, they were to be relieved by the coming again of Quetzalcoatl, should have nearly corresponded in its duration with the period in which intervened between Adam and Ihi coming of Christ.
You know what I'm saying? That's the. It was just cut off. You know what I'm saying? So Quetzalcoatl, you understand, is corresponding between the time of Adam and the coming of Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it's lining up with the story. You understand? Keep reading.
Quetzalcoatl, according to the opinion of some writers, received the appellation of Huitzilopochtli from the belief which the Mexicans entertain that he had ascended into heaven and was seated to the left hand of the Tanakh Katali.
which is the Most High. Like, it's literally the exact same thing that's written in the Bible, man. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some precepts on the matter. Give me go ahead.
Okay, so they left from that side before the time of Christ, right?
Yeah, they during the Assyrian Empire.
So pretty much what they went based off of for these stories was pretty much either prophecy or the writ or the, how do I say, the because a lot of things were told by word of mouth.
So in another book that I read, right? It talks about and you know, this is hypothesized, right? So the hypothesis that they say is when Christ ascended in front of the apostles, he came over here. He came to chill with him. He came to chill with them for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And for 20 years, according to what it's saying, which lines up with what I read in the other book, right? And taught them, just because remember it said that their language had notes of Hebrew in it, because, you know, like after a while, just like us, you know, we got Ebonics. We speak English, but we speak our own English.
Right.
Like, it's things that we say that white people are like, what? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about.
I'm saying.
Figure deal me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we have our own ways of saying things. So after a while, like just how like we formatted English to our own stilo based off of our region or wherever you are, same thing they did. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? They got water, so Christ, or who they call Quincy Codal, came over there for 20 years, just like he did with the children of Israel when they were in Roman occupation, taught them to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of their ancestors again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right. So we got 10 minutes. Give me Numbers 1 and 18. I need Numbers 1 and 18. We're gonna do Matthew 1 and 1 and Matthew 1 and 16.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their father, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their poll.
You know what I'm saying? So this is to line up and back up what it was saying, how they kept detailed records of the lineage of their forefathers. All right? Give me Matthew 1 and 1.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham.
To give you an example, right? How we say, like me, I'm Tazadak, you know what I'm saying? Bun Walter, Bun Yahweh, Bun Yashala. Right. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? All right. Give me Matthew 1 and 16.
Book
Go
of
read
Matthew,
through 17.
chapter 1 and 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Christ, Salakia, Yahushua, who is called Christ. So all the generations of Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations.
You understand? So the Toltecs, the Olmecs, the Mayans, the Incas, and the Native Americans, everyone, the people that were in Mesoamerica, South America, and North America, you understand, are the 10 tribes of the nation of Israel. You understand? With that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to say Amajium. which means to stand. All right, we're going to say Sar, which means to turn. We're going to face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer, first in Hebrew, then in English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayah, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kuwa, Hayah, Bashemayah, Natalanawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'ah, Tabi'anawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kayub, Lakub, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahatapara, La'awalamyum, Aman. In the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn and face the front. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters. No sweat. The next feast that we got coming up is the Feast of Purim. Where's the sheet? Here we go. The Feast of Purim, the 14th day of the 15th day of the 12th month, February 25th, and Friday, February 26th. You want to read the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 through 31. All right, we'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers and to the sisters. All right, men of Israel, mighty Shabbat, Badri, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatah, Yazimatah, Sar, turn and face the sister, men of Israel, mighty Shabbat, Badri, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Thah Hashem Yahushua, Yazimatah, dismiss.